Welcome to another episode 2 of It's Your
Well, I've got a
Revival.
question about that.
Go on.
Because we did the pilot episode. So surely that makes this episode 1. If you've done a pilot, does that make it 1 or 2? I think it's 1.
I think you should follow Friends, the TV series.
We'll check it out.
Their first episode was called Pilot.
Yeah, okay. It's either episode 1 or episode 2. We'll decide.
Yes. Either way, we have no idea what we're doing, so it's brilliant. It's great. It's a good start.
So anyway,
Yeah.
episode number whatever of the It's Your Revival podcast with me, Sally Baker, and
Martin Waterhouse.
yes,
Boom.
we're going to get these things in this time. We're
think
going
we
to
should-
remember to do all the bits you should do.
Yes. So today's episode,
Yep.
we're going to go through the questions again. So some questions we've had in.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we've had an official submission
We've had
to the
some
muscle
submissions.
mailing.
We have. Muscle mailing. That might change, but yeah, muscle mailing.
It's never changing.
Brilliant. What have you done this week, Sal? What's your thing? What have you been doing since last Thursday?
Since last Thursday, well, I have spent the weekend doing some more study towards my course, doing some level 3 training. I've got to go less than 2 weeks. I'm going to Bristol to do my next face-to-face workshop.
Love it.
So looking forward to that.
When are you level 4?
Are you level 3 or level
4?
4? I knew that really.
No, I'm level 4.
I know.
Specialise in lower back pain and obesity and diabetes. That's my level 4 speciality.
Well, my specialities will be pre and postnatal, menopause and nutrition, not only for weight loss but also sport and exercise, which I've heard is really hard to study.
So combined, we are like
Yeah,
an explosion
anything you
of
want to know.
knowledge. Don't
Exactly.
ask me anything though. I did mine years ago. It's like that.
So yeah, did that, put some good time in on that, and we went out for some food with some friends to a new-ish restaurant in Birmingham, 6 by Nico. Heard of it?
I have, yeah.
Yeah,
They
it
had
was.
an American menu. I
They
think I've
have
said
got an
that
American
right this
menu at the
time.
moment. Yeah,
was
6
that?
courses. It was really good.
Boom.
Yeah, really nice. So we did the you get 6 courses and you can do a wine pairing as well,
Okay, cool.
which we also did and very much enjoyed. Although I haven't drunk anything since January, so I didn't go mad on the wine.
So this is your official cheat meal.
I suppose you could call it a cheat
The
meal.
old cheat meal. Love it. Oh, you know what we should do? We should review food based on your cheat day. Does that make sense? The
Yes.
cheat day review. Is this food worth your cheat day?
You have a cheat day every week, don't you? Well, you have about
Wow.
3, I think.
Yeah. I used to have it on a Saturday, which still is my thing. I just kind of eat what I want, but all within my calorie deficit. But yeah, because I run those pubs now, it's turned into like a 3-day event. Well, not a day, not a 3-day event actually. I just have so Thursday, where I'll go and see the boys at Bad Boy Wings at Hare and Hounds, I'll eat some wings, obviously, because they're the best wings in the country. So 100%.
I can't eat wings. Too messy.
Have strips then. Strips
Yeah,
is
I can
fine.
cope with strips, but I just can't do it. It's just too...
Well, if you're going to go Korean barbecue, wings or strips at Hare and Hounds, buy Bad Boy Wings. Oh, they're incredible. So anyway, so I'll have that. Go
I
on.
did have food at the New Inn on Friday.
Oh, you had what, the cluck, didn't you?
No,
On
Cleopatra's
Friday?
Kitchen.
Cleopatra's Kitchen.
Yes.
Oh, I love Cleopatra's Kitchen. You had the mixed grill.
Mixed grill, but I didn't really eat the rice was really nice, but I didn't really eat it. I had the bread and all the meats and everything.
Yes. Done. It's good that is
Nice.
because you can wrap it up as well. Did
That's
you do
what
that?
I did. Yeah, I fished out the bread from the bottom,
It's a win.
chucked the meat in, dipped in the sauce,
That's one of my favourites.
and so that's worth your cheat day. What
Well, yeah.
There's a bit of
but let's
debate
not
about
go.
cheat day, isn't there?
Yeah,
Should
people
we
don't
call
like
it
the
a
name,
cheat?
do they? People don't like the name cheat day.
No, they don't. But you don't mind it.
No, you know what? Stuff like this, I always think this derives from people just trying to make content. So they go, "Oh, you know what? Let's have a go at people calling it cheat days, and we'll do a video on it." And I'm like, "Who cares what people call it? Do you know what I mean? Some people call it cheat days. Some people just call it another day. Some people call it a day where you eat more calories than the other ones." I don't really get what else. If you were going to label it, I like to label it. You don't have to, but I like to. If you're going to label it, what else could you label it?
Yeah, I don't know.
The extra consumption of calorie day makes no sense. Too many words.
I don't really see. I suppose I don't approach it in the same way. Like I went out and had that 6 by Nico and I had the food at the New Inn, but I don't really approach it as being the whole day. Like the rest of my day, I'll
Yes.
just eat what I'd normally eat, but
Yes.
just accept that I've decided I'm going out for this food and it is what it is and I'm not counting those calories. And I don't do it all the time, so, you know, and one meal doesn't make that much difference, does it? What did you do at the weekend?
Work. I work every day, mate, so I'm constantly
No, you
working.
just don't have a day off,
I
do
don't
you?
really know. So I'm worked all weekend. When I say all weekend, like half the day. And I get a bit of time to myself where I chill. But I'm a loner, and I'm a massive loner. So I like to be just me, my wife and my little boy. So I just chill in my garden, hot tub on, drink one of these normally. You know, a bit of crap food. That's my Saturday normally, just chilling the fuck out, especially if it's nice and sunny.
We did a bit of work together on Sunday, didn't we?
And then Sunday, yes, we did our photo shoot for the app that's coming out in September. The Revive It app, using Adam Wakefield.
We can put it in the show notes. That's what people do, isn't
Follow him because he's a genius.
Yeah, you did say though something had happened at the gym yesterday. You were going to tell me about.
Yeah, well, shall we? I want to do it after the questions.
Oh, okay.
So do you want to? Should we go into questions?
I've got a question for you then.
Go
which
for
I've
it.
had submitted.
Because my question has derived from the situation that happened.
Okay.
Boom.
Right, so I'll go first then.
Got it. Hit me with a question, mate.
Hi, Sally and Martin.
This is part of muscle mailing, isn't it? Someone's mailed this in.
They have.
Email.
I've literally printed it off. It's an email.
It's an actual email.
It's an actual email.
Emailed in, mate.
Yeah.
You can do that at, what's the email address? Who are they emailing?
Sally@reviveit.co.uk.
Oh, I've got one of them, haven't I?
Martin@reviveit.co.uk.
We'll bring that up in show notes as well.
Yes.
Bang.
Yeah.
There we
Or
go.
you can just drop us a DM on social.
Easiest way.
Yeah. So this says, "Hi, Sally and Martin. Loved the first podcast."
Mate, they listen to it.
Yeah.
No, right?
They go on to say, as someone that occasionally has to be in front of the screen, it's so refreshing to see that there are others out there that are just as bad as me, so keep up the average work.
We are awful.
Nice. Anyway, I need your help with a problem. I've always been a bit on the slim side, so a year ago, I decided to start having PT sessions to try and fill out a bit. I've been bulking over the winter and now I'm cutting, which I found an interesting experience.
Yes.
But here's the problem, or where it sets in. I've always been between around a 32-inch waist and have an event coming up for which I need some new trousers. And after finding some I like the look of, I asked my wife to help measure my waist to see what size I needed. I thought after the winter of eating, maybe I needed something a little bigger than the 32 I normally order.
Yeah.
Now I am reading this verbatim, okay?
Yeah, okay,
30 fucking 6 inches. Did I hear that correct? I got to do it again and she said the same. After a bit of arguing about how I could never be a 36-inch waist, I let it go and secretly measured again on my own. But there it was, definitely 36 inches. Fuck.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do I have to just accept that at certain times of the year I'm going to be a bit looser around the waist? Or are there any quick fixes I can do to get closer to the 32-inch trouser I am more comfortable with? P.S. The event is in 2 weeks. And that's from Ben.
So, there's no quick fixes, unfortunately. This ain't Slimming World, pal. It's going to be my new thing. This ain't Slimming World, mate.
And even if he drops his calories to 1,000, like we
Fuck,
talked
oh,
about
no.
last week.
No, never do that. See, but thing is, right, this highlights, this could be, this is an actual person actually writing this. For some people, their mentality now could be, oh, fuck, I need to get into like a small, that 36 number, oh my God, it's ruined my fucking life. So now I've got to do something really dramatic to drop those calories, hence 1,000 calories. I know people from years ago, when I first started doing PT, that would just eat fucking mushy peas. That's it, in a tin. They would crack open a tin of mushy peas in an office when I was in my office days, and I think I'd been a PT for about a year, part-time, and they would just eat mushy peas, and that would be their day. And I think maybe they'd have a salad when they got home. So that person's probably eating like 500 calories in their meal, and I'm like, it's just extreme. And like most of these people, what they'll find is, yeah, don't get me wrong, that's rapid weight loss because you're eating fuck all calories, but you're not going to feel great and you're going to look like shit. Like the amount of people, and normally from Slimming World, that I get these people from, because higher weight loss over a small amount of time is celebrated more than smaller amounts of weight loss. In a place where if you eat a banana or squash a banana, the full banana is no sins. The squashing of a banana and then eating it is 5 sins. What's that about? It's the same fucking thing.
Doesn't make any sense.
And unless you're deep throating the banana, you've got to chew it anyway before it goes in. So what's the difference? You're just pre-mashing it. But this is the kind of shit people love and go through most days in the church halls and all that shit. But by the by, it's my hatred of SlimmWorld. So these things, people would then start doing things dramatic to try and elicit a shit ton of weight loss, but you're just going to feel shit. So my point being, if you're going through a journey where your journey is, I'm going to bulk a bit, try and get a bit of muscle, because unfortunately the only way you can gain muscle is by putting a bit of weight on and, you know, eating the calorie surplus and doing heavy weights and strength training and things like that. There's, you know, higher protein diet, stuff like that, but it's, ultimately you're going to gain weight. Now, if that means you've gained a little bit of weight around your belly, because that's where you gain your weight, and it's different for everybody. Not everybody will gain more weight there. Some people have it on hips, etc. And then you're going to look at cutting down. Unfortunately, if there's a bit in between your goal, say your goal's a holiday or wherever it is, or just the summer, but there's a bit in between where you've got to get into a pair of trousers, you're just going to have to suck it up, mate.
So just accept it.
100%,
You're just on the journey.
Life's beautiful, mate. Just accept it. It's the journey. It's what it is. You know, trust the. What am I trying to? Not journey.
Process.
Trust the process. Trust the process, and enjoy the journey. And then eventually he'll get back to, what was it, 32? What he was before.
Yeah.
But he'll be more jacked than he was last year. So.
That's what we're hoping for.
Well, hopefully, you know, that's his goal. Trust the process.
So you had a question.
I have a question. So, so I'm 14 years old.
42.
14.
14.
14.
Okay.
I'm not, I'm 36. How old are you? I'm 14 years old. Can I weight train?
Well, that is a question, isn't it?
Good question.
Well, I think I know what you're going to disagree with me. I don't think you should be weight training at this point because your skeleton isn't yet fully developed, like your bones aren't fully developed, you've still got cartilage.
Yeah.
So until you're 25, you haven't finished, you know. So at that age, 14, I would be saying focus on body weight.
Yeah. Cool. That's absolute bullshit. So weight training isn't going to affect muscle growth, bone growth, anything like that. I have clients that are rugby players currently that are in a college in the or if you would call it that, sixth form in the Stourbridge area. They are full-blown rugby players training to become professional football players, and they start training with me from the age of 14. One of them now being one of the best in his year after 2 years of training. So, and his growth is fine, his muscle mass is fine, everything is fine. Unfortunately, what you just said, which is common knowledge, it's common for what people would say, is because it's very dated knowledge. People assumed back in the day that because you haven't fully developed, it would prohibit that to an extent. I remember hearing things like there was a short guy in the gym years ago, maybe about 5'6", which isn't that bad, but you know, quite short for a guy. It's because I started training when I was 12, 13. I'm like, no, it's not. just a short bloke. So no, at the age of 14, you 100% can train. And if you go to any academy that train younger people for sport, they will have an element of strength and conditioning in their programs, and that'll be weight training, etc. So it's absolutely fine. There you go.
So in my material though that I'm learning at the moment, that isn't what. So is there, like, when's that stuff going to get updated? Like, where's the research to say that that's okay?
Well, this is part of the problem, because especially when you're learning it, because you're learning it just from a textbook. Now, a lot of those textbooks are fucking ancient, and they've just been rewrote and updated to look like more of a modern textbook. But what you're learning is stuff that I was taught. Bloody hell, it's got to be what? It's probably 10 plus years ago, maybe say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And times change, unfortunately. Do you know what I mean? Well, fortunately, actually, times change, and more research gets developed, and these things now, you know, become false information. But you know, it's one of those things, man. Nobody's ever had stunted growth from exercise and strength training. It's just not possible. Now, if you're below the age of 12 and you're young, there's an element of risk factor because your bones might be a little bit more brittle, things like that. But by the time you're the age of like 14 onwards, you're good, man. Like, you're good. Just the only thing I would recommend, being of such a young age, and you're most likely going to be starting out training, that's going to be your first point if you're starting at 14. And this kind of applies to most people, but particularly when you're there, or if you're an elderly person, just have someone around to support you. You know, whether that be a PT, so like I say, I train some of the guys now, or you're in a group together with some guys, or your friends, or whatever it is, just have someone to support you, just to keep making sure that what you're doing is safe and you're not overloading. Because when you're of that age, there's a lot of ego lifting. I was like it when I was a kid. You want to lift the heaviest in the gym. You think it looks the best. You can't really do it. Your form goes on the piss. And I've dislocated my shoulder a couple of times doing it. It happens. So that's the only thing I would say, is just keep it safe. But I would say that to anybody who's just starting out in the gym, no matter what age you were. So
I think that's something that I'd like to pick up on. Maybe we can talk about it more another time. But like this ego lifting thing, so
Yes.
people wondering how much are other people lifting, but I think that is possibly a bit of a misconception, because some of it will come down to the size of you as well, won't it? So
Yeah, 100%.
somebody that's like my size is never going to lift the same as somebody of your size, as an example.
No, 100%. And like, you just lift to what you can lift to. And like, really, if you want to keep it simple, 8 to 12 reps, say, in that rep range, you want to be struggling. And if you're struggling to that rep range, you keep doing that rep range until you no longer struggle, and then you go up a little bit, whether that's a kilo or half a kilo or 5 kilo, whatever. You know, really, the smaller the incremental increase, the better.
But stay in your lane.
Always, man. Like, who gives a shit? Plus, nobody's looking. You know what I mean? I mean, I can't speak for some gyms. Some gyms are full of morons, but like, I can speak for mine, and nobody's fucking looking. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody cares. You know, when you do lift, some people might be impressed and they go, oh, bloody hell. But, you know, they're only impressed if you're doing it properly. So I can lift a set of 55 kilo dumbbells. It's a heavy fucking set of dumbbells, but I can do it properly. I wouldn't just be doing that if I couldn't do it. I'd progressively get to that. And I've been progressively getting to that for 10 years. So I started low. You know, even pull-ups. I remember my mate Marcus, bless him, we used to go to the filthiest gym in the West Midlands, and he would like hold me, full of big blokes, and he'd just be holding me, like doing pull-ups like this, like I'd kind of do with you, but he'd have his arms around me like this and pulling me up in front of all these dudes. I didn't give a shit what people thought. I knew what I was doing was getting better at pull-ups. So.
Well, we've been doing that for 15 months. When am I going to be able to do a pull-up?
It's hard, man. To be fair, we should do it every week as well. We don't do it every week.
We don't,
should probably
no.
do it every week. If your goal is to get better at pull-ups.
So anyway, the question,
yes,
we've
yes.
discussed the question, and you said that was going to lead you into the conversation that you had yesterday.
Yeah, so yesterday, so I get a call from one of my guys at the gym who was working in the afternoon, and he'd had a call from a sixth form in the Stourbridge area. We won't say which one. I don't want to, you know.
There are not
throw
too many
dirt.
to choose from.
There isn't. It's not by Mary Stevens or anything like that, so whatever. But one of them in the area, I had a call from a matron.
Well, that doesn't give it away, does it? How
that's
many
fucking-
sixth forms have got a matron?
I don't know, but not naming any. So that's a carry-on film, innit? Matron. But yeah, so this matron called, and apparently, according to my guy, she was rude, blah, 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 talking about some 14-year-olds coming to my gym. So I wasn't part of the conversation, so I took the number, called back the matron. She didn't answer. She called me back about 6 p.m. From said number, from said sixth form.
Whose name we
We
will not
won't
mention.
discuss. They have a matron. So he called me back and would not let me speak, man. Like, I was
Well,
chilling
that
in my
must have
garden, in my hot tub, being disrupted by a
Impressive.
woman fucking ringing me, giving me grief about the fact that these 14-year-olds were potentially coming to my gym. So all I asked was, what's the issue? Well, they shouldn't be weight training at 14. You know, I said, well, where are you getting your knowledge from? Now, this is what got her back up, because she didn't know where she was getting this knowledge from. She was just quoting old school stuff. And then she was like, you know, well, the eccentric phase of the muscle. And I was like, you can't just quote movements of limbs. Like, what you can't, that's not an argument as to why people can't train at the age of 14. Bear in mind, the place where she's calling from has a strength conditioning director and coach there. I know him. And there's a gym in there specifically designed for strength and conditioning for 14-year-olds plus. That's where they start the strength and conditioning training, from 14 onwards, right? And then some of those train with me as a PT from the age of 14. So I'm like, and I said the irony is, is that the ones that haven't got a membership at mine, that did have and they got banned, were the ones that were of age, that used to dick about in the gym, the ones that are 16, 17. But if you're telling me there's 14-year-olds coming in, I was trying to explain that yes, as a blanket rule, we do not allow anybody under the age of 16 to train. That's not because it's illegal. She said that to my colleague as well, it's illegal.
Illegal?
Illegal. Call the police. Do you know what I mean? I was like, it's not because of that. It's not because of insurance. She was like, well, some gyms say their insurance. If a gym tells you their insurance is covered, that's just a politically correct way of telling you they don't want 14-year-olds in the gym. So I said, my reason is because I don't want a load of fucking 14-year-olds dicking about in the gym, because that's normally what happens, and that's not the same for everybody. And I said, if you've got some people that you know, by the way, she won't give me the names, but that you know that are coming in and they've come in and they've, not gave the right date of birth, etc., but they're not causing any bother and they look of age. Who cares? Do you know what I mean? Crack on. And these people, because I don't know who they are, I know a few of them that play rugby for this sixth form, but also play rugby for Old Halsonians who have got a contract with Revolve Fitness to come and train from the age of 14, and they come and do group training all the time. Stourbridge Rugby Club, where a lot of their players come over, there's no contract there, but their players come to the gym and they come train with me. So that, it could have been one of those. There was no context behind it. It was just some matron from, the boarding bit, from boarding.
Form.
Yeah, that boards.
Boarding.
So I called back today. I actually left a message. I actually called her a bitch. By the way. But I left her a message in the end because she would not listen. She was just over talking.
Well, how did your conversation finish last night then?
So she ended up, she just wouldn't let me speak. And I said, you're not even letting me speak. She went, I'm on my lunch. I went, you've called me. You called me. I didn't call you, you called me. So whatever. So the phone went dead. So I rang back and left a message and I explained assertively that this is what you can do. It's fine, but whatever. But then I rang back today and spoke to somebody better. And bless, I got through to the receptionist and she was like, oh, I know who you are. My son loves your gym. And I was like, win, thank God. Told her the situation, she was just laughing. And then she mentioned the guy that I know who does the strengthening, who's the director of strength and conditioning and sports conditioning there at the sixth form. And she was like, I'll pass it on to him, he'll probably call you. And I was like, yeah, get him to call me. And I said, I don't want anything to happen. Just someone needs to re-educate the people that are representing your sixth form, because that knowledge is old school and it does not apply. Nobody from the 14 plus category has ever had anything wrong with them from training. It's a great thing to start doing. But yeah, Orlando, my little boy, comes in and he lifts up things that are nothing to us, but to him would be a heavy weight, and he loves it, throws the weights. He goes, he loves it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just, be safe. That's the only thing I would say. So there we go. Nice
Good story. Good story.
So
And a bit of re-education.
Yeah, hopefully now she's educated. I don't want her to get in trouble or anything like that, even though she was an absolute cow. So yeah, man, I just think leave the kids alone. But re-education, hopefully that happens. Job done.
Cool. I think that just about wraps up our first episode, doesn't it?
Yes.
We need to remember, because we didn't do this last time, please subscribe if you've enjoyed the podcast today, or even if you haven't.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, because that's going on YouTube, isn't it? Like and subscribe. Subscribe to the podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. Instagram, follow us at Revive It App. Do that.
Or any of your other favourite social platforms. You can find us at Revive It App.
Yes.
And if you've got any questions or any subjects that you'd like us to talk about, do send those questions in via the muscle mailing, and feel free to do it anonymously if you like.
And if you want to change the name of the muscle mailing,
don't.
Put that on there as well. Give us nice ideas, whatever. Just not, here's what it is. Freedom. Just
until somebody suggests something better, though, we will be going with that.
It will be muscle mailing. Yes.
Indeed. Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Boom.
Boom.
That was terrible.
That was awful.
It's you. Yes.